Hey makeup friends, today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the new Teint Idole Ultra Wear Concealer from Lancome. Let's get into this. As always, I want to start off by welcoming you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. Now the makeup I have already worn in another video, but I don't know which order they're going to go up, so let me quickly touch upon it. I used some shades from the Michaela and Glamlight palette, and then on my lips I have one of the Ultra Matte lipsticks from ColourPop in the shade Midnight Snack. As a complete aside, I just picked one of these up having not used one of their Ultra Matte lips in years. They must have reformulated because this is way more comfortable than what I ever remember them being. A little bit streaky, but way more comfortable to wear, so I can live with that. At any rate, you're also going to see this entire outfit in another video, but that's just how we're rolling today. Now getting back to the topic at hand, I am planning this to be the first of an open-ended series where I'm going to weekly or potentially bi-weekly do a concealer review and wear test for you guys. There are a ton of concealer reviews out on YouTube, but I do find that there are a lot of them that are done by people in their 20s or early 30s. And while that's not to take away the value of their reviews, I'm 41 and my under eyes are definitely a lot different now than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago, and I do have different challenges now. So let's talk very briefly of what those challenges are. So I have fairly normal skin. So I don't have particularly oily areas. I don't have particularly dry areas. If anything, my skin does lean a little bit dry, but I don't tend to get like dry patches or anything of that sort. I think I already stated I am 41, so there are some fine lines going on. Some of them a little less fine than others, and those do seem to be deepening as each year passes. It just is what it is. So I found that over the course of the years, I've had to change how I even apply concealer. I used to bring it right up to the lower lash line, but now there is quite the trench running under there, so I keep it a little bit lower. I also use a lot less product than I used to. So what I envision doing in this series is just doing full-on wear tests. So for today's video, just to give you the lay of the land, I did do a wear test over the course of 2 days. So on the first day, I applied one side with a sponge, one side with a brush, and I didn't apply any under eye setting powder. And then in the next day, I did the same application, but I did apply some setting powder just to see if that would have a difference. And that's what I intend to do going forward. Now I do have quite the extensive concealer collection over here. Some of these I have picked up recently for the purposes of this series, but there have been a lot of them living in my drawer for quite some time. What I personally look for in a concealer is just the most coverage that I can get. I need coverage, I need blendability, and I need longevity. Those are the three things that I am most particularly interested in. However, in the course of this series, I do intend to pick up some items that are maybe less coverage just to see what the wear time is, because I know not everybody has the dark under eye circles that I have. Let's get straight into this one and we'll see how it goes. This is going to be a bit of a collaborative process between me and you guys. Feel free, leave me criticism down below, make it constructive, please. That's the most helpful kind. Give me some feedback. What did you wish that I had incorporated? What did you not necessarily care about? Let me know so that we can sort of construct this together so that I'm giving you the information that you need so that this all just makes sense and we all get something out of it. All right, like I said, first up, we're talking about this one here from Lancome. This is the Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer, and I have it in the shade 250, which is Bisque. So my typical MAC shade is NC20, so I am light-skinned with a bit of a golden/yellow undertone, so you will see that obviously repeat itself out as we go through these concealers. So let's get some information on this and then we'll get into the wear test. The concealer retails for $29 US or $44 Canadian, and for that you're receiving 13 milliliters of product. It has a matte finish and it's available in 20 different shades. According to the Sephora website, the highlighted features of this concealer are that it's hydrating, it It has a matte finish, it offers full coverage, it's good for dark circles, fine lines, and wrinkles. The synopsis of the product is that it's a hydrating, lightweight, full coverage concealer that brightens the look of dark circles and covers imperfections without creasing or caking. The highlighted ingredients in the concealer are moringa seed, known to protect against urban aggressors, rose extract, known for locking in moisture, and water lily extract, known for soothing skin and redness. It says that it's appropriate for all skin types, including sensitive and dry skin. It offers up to 24-hour wear with medium to full breathable coverage, and it's an all-purpose smart concealer with targeted precision for all-over flawless complexion. It evens out the skin tone seamlessly, conceals redness and signs of fatigue, and smooths fine lines and dry areas with 24 hours of moisture and comfort. The last thing to point out about this concealer is the applicator itself. It has an ultra flexible applicator with a precise tip for targeted concealing, and then an all-over side for full face coverage. All right, so that is the information on the concealer, so let's get right into the wear test. So you'll see me first apply it with a brush, and then on the other side I apply it with a sponge. And I will say that I really don't see much of a difference in terms of the level of coverage when using a brush versus a sponge. I don't see any difference in that. I don't see any difference in the longevity in using either of those tools. So I really think it's dealer's choice at this point. If you prefer to use a sponge, this works well with that. If you prefer to use a brush, this is also going to work well with that. So I like that. I like that there's not a noticeable difference between the two sides, and overall, blending it out is no problem at all. The coverage on this concealer is very impressive to me. It does rate itself as 3 out of 4 in terms of coverage. Despite the fact that it says Ultra Wear in the name of the product, they don't seem to claim that it has any sort of ultra level of coverage. They do say that it is good for dark circles. In fact, they say it twice on the Sephora website, but I put that more on Sephora than on Lancome themselves. With Lancome on their packaging, they say that it is a medium to full coverage. I didn't go in and apply 2 different layers of the product to build it up. That's just not something that I typically do in any event. But I do find that this has very good coverage and really does help to cover up the darkness under my eyes. All right, so here is the concealer in natural light. I'm just sitting in front of the window in my office. Ignore the banging in the background. Barry's trying to fix a door downstairs by hammering it into submission. Anyways, this is the sponge application side. This is the brush side. For today, I didn't use any under eye setting powder, so I just want to see how the concealer does on its own. It does say that it is creaseless, so we shall see. It's been about half an hour since I applied it. We got the kids ready, dropped them off at camp, got to work, here we are. And so far, it's so good. There's no gathering going on at all. I think the coverage on both sides is good. So far we're looking good, but like I said, it's been half an hour, so I will check back in later on. Okay, so here we are. It is the 5-hour check-in. Again, this is natural light. I'm at work, so I don't have access to my ring light, anything of that sort. Also just noticing, first of all, I've got something in my hair, but also just how gray it is. Anyways, that's not the point. So again, didn't set it. This is the sponge eye. This is the brush eye. I don't see any difference, honestly, between the sponge and the brush. I don't see any difference. And again, I'm still not seeing any gathering in those lines under my eyes, even though I didn't set it with any powder. There's a little bit of wear going on the side of my nose where the the bridge of my glasses sits. That happens all the time. I'm not surprised to see that, but nothing has caked up, especially in these lines right under here, because those are the biggest offenders. And the coverage still looks good. We're doing good at 5 hours. I'm going to check in again in another 5 hours. See you then. Hello again. It is now another 6 hours after my last update, which takes us to 11 hours of total wear. And again, I'm standing in front of a window, so this is natural light. I think we're doing good. I really didn't know what to expect with not setting it with powder. Because I rely on that pretty heavily. There's definitely wear, it is definitely, the darkness is creeping in. I would say a little bit more on the sponge side than on the side that I applied with the brush, but definitely like wear on both sides. But if we look into those like little creases, we don't have any of like those telltale like gathering of the product in there. And I think it's a fairly even wear as well under each eye. Like there's not big splotches of it or anything of that sort. It hasn't just like spread apart on the skin. So it's wearing away quite nicely. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So tomorrow I'm going to set it with some powder. We'll see what that does for it. But overall, I'm impressed. All right, I have made it to the office, so I'm sitting in front of my window. Oh, here comes Luna. She's just coming in to take her spot. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. Anyways, here is the concealer. So again, this is the brush side, this is the sponge side. Once again, I'm not seeing a difference in the application. Honestly, I don't think it matters if you use a sponge or a brush because it looks the exact same. I don't see any difference. But as you saw, I did set it with some powder today, so we're going to see if that helps with the longevity, if it makes any difference whatsoever. We'll see. But I mean, it takes about 10 minutes or so for us to drive here, so I've had it on for, I'd say at this point, at least 25 minutes. And I'm not seeing any like settling into the fine lines under my eyes, anything of that sort. Nice even application, good coverage. We'll see how it looks in about 5 hours, so I'll see you then. I've literally just realized that I probably should be filming this horizontally anyways, so that it shows up on YouTube better, but anyways, here we are. This is about a 6-hour check-in. Again, sponge and brush, and I'm not seeing any signs of wear yet. Like, she's holding up really, really well. I'm really impressed by it. I really like this concealer. I really like it. We'll see how it does in another few hours, but usually if it's gonna fall apart, it starts falling apart around this time, and I'm just not seeing it. So I am quite happy with that. Yay. All right, I will see you at the end of today. No, you won't see an end of the day check-in because I can't find the footage. I annoy myself. I will tell you that straight up, I annoy myself. Anyways, it is what it is. I can't find it. So I will just let you know from memory, it held up every bit as well with the powder as it did without the powder. I was expecting it to hold up like a little bit better, to be honest, with the powder, but it really didn't have much of an impact at all. So I'm curious as to whether or not that's like the powder doesn't do an awful lot or this concealer just really doesn't need it. But regardless, either way you roll the dice on this one, it holds up so well throughout the day. So I'm very impressed by that. Less impressed by myself. Also, ignore the eye situation. I've had this on all day and it shows. Anyways, back to the video. Straight up, filming these is going to be a bit of a learning curve for me because I can't necessarily remember what I've said in the other components that I've already filmed. So I'm just going off the top of my head at this point, and hopefully I'm covering all the bases. Again, like I said, this is going to be a bit of a work in progress until we figure out sort of the formula that's going to work best in terms of what it is that you guys want to know and how I go about filming it. At any rate, I did want to wrap this video up with some final thoughts on this concealer, and that is that I'm very impressed with it. I am very happy with the wear time of it, and I'm also very happy with the coverage that it provides. I really enjoy the fact that you don't need an under eye setting powder with this. It still feels unnatural to me not to use a setting powder with it because it's just been ingrained in me over the course of years of doing makeup that you set your concealer so that it doesn't crease, but this one really doesn't crease. The claims that it makes about not settling into fine lines, they hold up, and I'm very, very impressed by that, and also a little bit surprised because most concealers that I have tried that say they don't crease, a lot of them end up creasing, and it's a bit frustrating. So this one has sort of blown me away, to be perfectly honest. As well, the wear time is there. It held up beautifully throughout the course of the day, and I'm just really impressed with that as well. All the coverage in the world doesn't mean anything to me if it just becomes a creased, cakey mess, or if it just evaporates 2 hours after I apply it. Like I said at the beginning, I need those 3 things. I want it to blend out nicely because I don't want to have to be scrubbing around under my eyes and trying to get an even application. I want the coverage because I do have very dark under eye circles and I want to cover those up, and I need the wear time. If any one of those things is missing, it's a product that I'm not really going to be happy with. This one checks all the boxes for me, and I've been very happy with it. So there you have it, guys. That is the new Teint Idole Ultra Wear Concealer from Lancome. I give it a big thumbs up. I'm really impressed with it. So there it is. Like I said earlier, please feel free to leave me some constructive criticism in the comments, some suggestions on concealers that you'd love to see reviewed, all of that kind of thing. I plan on going through all the ones that I have, but if new concealers come out, if you're particularly interested in one, always feel free to leave a request or send me a DM showing me the concealer that you're curious about, and I'll take all those things into consideration. But for now, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.